Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about the trucking recession of 2019. To date, there has been 6 notable companies that went out of business. Most of those companies had been in business for 40 plus years, if memory serves, which means these are companies that made it through '08, which was devastating to the industry, and they made it through 2016. And now we're back at 2016 levels as far as freight rates go, and they're folding up, closing the doors. Now, best guess, best hypothesis, if you will, is it's probably due to them over leveraging themselves. Meaning, like everybody else, they went out and bought new equipment last year when the rates were up. Uh, Nobody, I don't think, or I haven't heard, uh, you know, nobody expected the market to turn as fast as it did. I think there was a lot of variables in that. Um, Partly the ELD buildup, uh, mainly, in my opinion, the China trade negotiations, I think, are what just completely killed the market. It killed the flow of freight in and out. You know, China is one of our largest trade partners. Half of the crap that goes in a truck is either going, well, half of the crap, more than half of the crap, is coming from China, and I don't know the exact numbers, but there's a good number that's going back to China. Um, and even if it's not going to China, um, a lot of it's going overseas uh, via container, and the ships don't go back and forth anymore unless they are full up. So even if you're shipping something, even the crap you have is going to Indonesia, South Korea, uh, anywhere over in that area, it's not gonna ship until we get a ship from China, and all of that stuff gets delivered, and they have the empty containers to load your stuff into to ship back over. So China, the trade negotiations, the trade war with China has had a major effect on the trucking industry, and in my opinion, the is the leading factor in why we have a 2019 recession. Now, you can doom and gloom and the sky is falling, or like me, you can choose to use it as a learning experience. One, if you're a company driver looking to become a lease op or owner op, don't do it. Now is not the time. Why would you do it now? Unless you have a special situation, unless you have extenuating circumstances that all but guarantee your success, why would you do it? You're setting yourself up for failure. If you really want to do it, build your bank account for the next 5 to 8 months, network, and learn. And the same truck you're going to buy today, same specs, year, make, model, engine, trans, rear ends. You probably buy it in 5 to 8 months for about 10 grand less than what you're going to buy it for right now, and actually come into the industry when the rates start to climb again, and come into it with cheaper overhead. To pull the trigger now is just dumb, to be perfectly honest. If you're a lease op, owner op, you got to do what you can do. Weather the storm best you can, and start preparing for the next storm. Once there will be another storm after this one. It's inevitable. The the freight market is a market. It's going to go up and down just like the Dow Jones, the S&P 500, the Russell 5000. You know, it's going to fluctuate. It just does. Again, we had 2008. We just had 2016. You know, when we come out of this one, if you can weather it, start preparing yourself for the next one. Work on keeping your costs low. Work on having that buffer, that nest egg, that if 2008 happens in 2022, you've got enough cash and low enough overhead that you can make it through that and come out the other side. Because those are going to be the guys that win in the long run, are the guys that can weather the storm and come out on the other end. Because when the rates start going back up, you're already going to be in place to jump on it and to take advantage of it. Well, everybody else is, thinking about getting into it and thinking about buying trucks. You're already going to be doing it. Now, number two, part two. If you are a company driver with experience, a lease op, or an owner op, or even have your own authority, you punch your own ticket. It's not your dispatcher's fault. It's not the company's fault. It's not the freight rate, the broker's fault. You have to man up, woman up, whatever, and take charge of your life. If you're a lease op, owner op, take charge of your business. Put yourself, and even if you're a company driver with experience, look at yourself as a business. You're just using somebody else's equipment, and you're paying them essentially to take on the risk. But that's how you should be looking at it. That you are a commodity. You are a business. Your employer is your business partner. And that said, across the board, you need to do what is best for your business. If where you are at does not have freight, go somewhere else. Start doing research. Put in some legwork. Start doing some homework. If you have your own authority and the market you're in just sucks for freight rates and you're barely getting by week to week, put your authority dormant. Go lease on to a Landstar, a Schneider, a Crete. Find somebody that has that freight at a steady, guaranteed rate. down market, consistency is king. If you're a company driver and your company is starting to lose freight, or things are starting to get slow, you're noticing every week you're down 2, 3, 4, 500 miles from what you were a year ago, 6 months ago. That's an indicator that they are losing freight, that their business, their volume is slowing down. Start doing research. There's companies out here right now that are doing great. There's companies out here right now that haven't even seen a slowdown. You have experience, or you have your own truck. Move. Move where the money is. The guys that, I mean, how are you going to blame somebody else, or blame circumstances or whatever, if you stay somewhere that's dying on the vine? Go find another vine. There's Trucking industry is huge. There's hundreds of thousands of trucking companies out here. There's multiple fractions of the industry. It's not all just dry van and reefer and flatbed. Find, start hunting. It's the guys that find what works, the guys that make the moves, that are going to weather the storm, while everybody else gets out of trucking, goes bankrupt. I mean, if you're a lease op and you're in a walk-away lease, you got to start looking at numbers. You got to start doing math. You got to start adulting, for lack of a better term. I mean, it might be time to exercise that walk-away lease and go get a company gig, and where there's steady work, consistent income. Pay your bills, weather the storm, stack your money. When the rates start to go back, when the market turns for the upside, go buy a truck. Go be go lease a truck from another company. That's the name of the game. It's survival of the fittest. And the guys, again, I mean, the guys that can make it are the guys that in 2020 are going to be doing good. Those are the guys that are going to have already restructured their debt, learned how to get better fuel mileage, learned how to lower their overhead or minimize their overhead, uh, you know, drop fixed costs, fixed expenses, and maximize profits. And June, July of 2020, those guys are going to be killing it, because they're still going to have that mentality. They're still going to have that lower overhead costs, and they're still going to be in the mindset of maximizing profits. And that's what it's all about. Whether you're company, lease op, owner op, have your own authority, it all comes down to maximizing profitability. And sometimes profitability is king. Sometimes, when the floodgates are open and the market's on a tear, productivity is king, because productivity is going to get you more profits. At the end of the day, it's all about profits. No matter what part of the industry you're in, no matter what classification of driver you are. So that's my take on it. It's a recession. It's a downturn. It sucks. Will it last forever? No. Will more companies go out of business? Yeah. Will the used truck market be flooded like it was in 2016, early 2017? Yeah, it will be. There's a lot of owner apps that have been out of business, went out of business, will go out of business, hanging on by a thread right now. And there's a lot of lease apps that are already turning trucks in, a lot more lease apps that are figuring out that they can make more money as a company driver, turning their trucks in or getting ready to turn their trucks in. And all those trucks are eventually going to make it down to the used truck market. So, at any rate, that's my spiel. You know, again, I'm here to share my journey. I'm here to share what I'm doing, how I did it, how I got from where I was to where I am. And I'm here to see as many guys as possible weather this storm. I'm here to do what I can do to help other drivers be successful. And at this point in time, you know, if where you're at is sucking and you're not making money and it's getting pretty hard to pay some bills and to keep the truck moving, you know, the best bit of advice I could give you is start looking for somewhere else. Somebody else is making the money. Somebody else is moving loads. You know, you just got to figure out who. And it's going to be different for every market. I'm in Northern Illinois. I'm not in Georgia. I'm not in New Jersey. But you got to look around. You got to do your research. You know, the strong are the ones that are going to survive it. The strong are the ones that are going to come out on top of it next year. So it sucks. There's no secret sauce. There's no secret formula. It's just put your nose down, grind through it, and do some homework. You need to figure out what works best for you and where you're going to make the most money for the rest of this year going into next year. At any rate, thank you. If you guys have any questions, comments, please drop them down in the bottom there in the comment section. Be happy to respond. Be happy to have a conversation about it. Be happy to help anybody out that has a question. That's what this channel is all about. That's what we're hoping to do, is see more guys come out here and more guys succeed in the long term. Thanks for watching. Bye.